For over 25 years, participation in high school sports have increased here in the United States. Every year, millions of student athletes lace up and represent their teams in competition. But those numbers aren't the only thing on an upward trend. Injuries have permeated every level of competition, and athletes have found themselves sidelined.
I knew the pitch. It was in a second inning of a game. I threw. I didn't know what was wrong with it at the time, but I knew there was something wrong with it.
You know, training-related injuries they're almost all preventable.
If you're in the off season, just take some time playing catch with your dad.
Every pitcher's arm has a limited number or a finite number of pitches.
The first time I was upset and just crying. The second time I was mad. Are you kidding me? This is not happening right now.
You know, injury will always be an inherent part of sport. It's going to be there.
Anytime anything is outside of you and you put on a parent hat, you're always trying to protect your kids from everything. But the bottom line is you can't do it without their help.
We'd love to see an athletic trainer in every building. Is it feasible? I don't even know if there'd be enough bodies out there currently right now that are licensed here in the state of Missouri.
To show up at practice with a bag on their shoulder and say, I'm here in case something happens, that's not sports medicine service.
I feel sympathy for coaches that they have to focus on a game. On top of that, they have to be a medical personnel. Is a tough situation to be in.
No matter what it is, whether it's in the classroom or on the athletic field, student safety is always primary concern.
It's scary, especially at a young age. I mean, because you don't hear about too many injuries like those that happen until you get up to those levels where guys are actually just trying to take your head off.
Most of these kids are only going to play 4 years of football. You don't want to cost a kid weeks of a season that he'll never get back.
I've seen players get hurt and they'll miss half a year, and I just hate to see it taken away when an injury does happen.
Because this is not a United States issue alone. This is not a football only issue. This is a athletics issue.
Over the next hour, we'll take an in-depth look at injuries across all sports and all levels. Nick Petrie was an athlete that did just about everything right on the baseball field. Growing up, he was one of the 4 million kids playing baseball in the United States every year. Like many, he had hopes of making it to the big leagues. Like few, he actually did. Baseball is a numbers game. 90-foot paths marked by 15-inch bases. Batting averages, slugging percentages, and runs batted in display in bright lights and shine from the outfield. There's an island in the center, a holy ground of sorts, the ignition point for a battle that rages 60 feet 6 inches away at home plate every game. In 2015, Missouri State's Nick Petrie stood tall on the rubber. He demanded the attention of giants. The 2012 Collegiate Baseball Player of the Year had been picked by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 9th round of the 2013 draft. He climbed his way back to Hammons Field to play for the Springfield Cardinals. His right-handed delivery had brought him back home, but with every pitch and every waning inning, his love for competition slowly gave way to the numbers. His baseball career eliminated by another statistic.
I knew the pitch. It was in a second inning of a game. I threw. I didn't know what was wrong with it at the time, but I knew there was something wrong with it, and walked back in. And by the time I walked back in, I really couldn't straighten my arms.
Nick Petrie's freshman season at Missouri State was spent in rehab.
One pitch, and there it was.
Recovering from Tommy John surgery.
I never really had any arm problems, so initially it was like, this is kind of weird. Maybe it's just like a forearm thing, whatever. But obviously that wasn't the case.
The UCL is a ligament in the elbow that connects the humerus bone to the ulna bone in the forearm. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like this rubber band. Every time a pitcher throws a baseball, the ligament or rubber band stretches a little bit. You can imagine over the course of a season or a career that the rubber band might tear or just completely snap. And that's what requires surgery. Repairing the ulnar collateral ligament in the elbow was a surgery first performed on Major League pitcher Tommy John by Dr. Frank Jobe back in 1974. Initially, it was a surgery reserved for the professional elite, but in recent years has spread like an epidemic, reaching even the youngest of athletes. In a study done at the American Sports Medicine Institute in Birmingham, Alabama, the surgery increased over 6-fold among their medical staff at the turn of the century. According to the American Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine, the surgery has increased over 9% each year since then, and from the years 2007